back, and now it's time to talk about world news.
Well, first things first. My prayers go out to the people in Chile. It's been a wildfire that has been tearing through, and it's been pretty bad. I don't want to throw any conspiracy theories in there, but damn it, another wildfire. Like the earth is just spontaneously combusting in certain places and just burning people out. And it's usually in places where people come up with these extravagant plans on what they can do if people wasn't here. So Chile is having a natural disaster and wildfires. We also have China that's been decimated with earthquakes. They haven't been like big earthquakes that really rock the infrastructure like that, but it has been like a cluster of small earthquakes that's been knocking people out in twos and fews. So definitely prayers go out to those people. Um, Anything else going on? Are they still rioting over there in Europe?
Yes, so Paris is going crazy. You know what? I shout out to France, okay? Because one thing I will say is that they not playing no games. They are the definition right now of standing on business. So let me tell you what's going on. Picture this, right? So let's say you live in Paris, right? Right now, the farmers are letting them know, like, they're letting their government know that, first of all, y'all got too many rules and regulations. Y'all making this way too hard to farm. Like, I can't even say
Right.
agricultural.
Agriculture.
I can't say that word at
Got you.
all. But they're making the regulations way too much. Too many chemicals, too many things. They want to do too much when it comes to what the farmers need to do. So right now there's a form now that farmers have to fill out. It takes them almost a whole day to actually do it. And if you ever
What the
have,
hell kind of form is this?
I guess it's for like their regulations. They're coming up with new stuff. So basically they're trying to regulate things a lot different. They're saying it's to help, but a lot of farmers are saying because of the work that they do, it already take a lot, and seasonal,
Right.
depending on what you're growing, it's already a lot. So to have to do these extra regulations and rules that they have, whatever they did, they done pissed these people off. So this is what they're doing. They have blocked off all the main streets with all their tractors, everything. They've been throwing mildew at the government buildings. They're in the streets. People can't hardly get anyway because if you look at the freeways, it's filled with tractors. They're making sure that you ain't gonna go nowhere until they're actually heard. So I want to make sure that I can try to put up like a video. It may not have no sound like while I'm talking so that you guys can like actually see what's going on because these people are literally like, no, y'all not about to keep on playing in our face. And that's what I love about them.
Well,
Like they're not really like messing up anything. They're not rioting like as in messing up stores and nothing. They taking it to their doorstep. Like that's
right.
where
Yeah.
you're
Yeah. Straight to
supposed
the
to do
government.
it.
And it's not everybody's fault if the government's making these choices. Then they need to hear about it. But this all started back when they wanted to raise the age for retirement.
Yep.
Well, guess what America's doing? Even though nearly 80% of Americans surveyed don't want the age of retirement raised, we're gonna go for it. We're gonna go for it. So they want to take it up to 70. So they're saying based off of the average age that people are living to now, that we should have to work an additional 5 years to retire. Y'all better get y'all shoes ready so we can stand on business as well. Cause I ain't doing it. I ain't doing it. There's no reason for people to have to put in an additional 5 years to actually receive their retirement benefits. Like, how much longer do you believe people are living right now that, one, they can afford to work another 5 years to retire? Two, you taking the cost of everything else up. Like, give these people a break. Once you hit 65, I believe you deserve a break. I actually believe that once you hit 65, that you should join a socialism group where like you can actually go pick up your groceries and get your goods at an extreme discount because like you've contributed to the building of the country thus far. So like why should you be taxed into the dirt? Work to the bone. You got the people out there greeting you at the door at Walmart, and they barely know where they at. So it's like Let them be able to sit down.
Listen,
What did you work that long for?
this is when I knew that the world was messed up. And I'm gonna say this, and maybe it's TMI, but as a woman, to make me pay taxes and have to even pay for pads and tampons, and I didn't ask my body to do this, is wild. It's wild to me. And it's not like the good ones are like really like inexpensive. No, pads and tampons add up, and they're kind of expensive at the while, and it's pissing me off the fact
can't
that
relate.
I actually have to pay taxes on this. Yeah, you can't.
Can't
So
relate.
I'm gonna just say it myself. This is when I knew that the world was messed up, because something that I did not get to choose. I did. If I had to choose, I would not choose to have a period.
Okay.
Come on now.
All
But
right.
this is something that Mother Nature has done. And I'm going to get to the bottom of who and what bloodline caused periods to start happening, because I heard it wasn't really natural, but it's been a curse that put on.
It's definitely natural.
No, I'm saying.
And you
back
know
in the
why
day-
you should have to pay taxes on it?
Why?
Because you have a period. It gives you 5 to 8 additional years that a man will never have.
That's
Because
not-
your body actually
Listen.
goes through a process where it cleans itself out. Whereas
Listen.
my grown ass
Listen.
is have a lower life expectancy because I don't have one.
Listen, I'm sorry that we're God's favorite, okay? That don't have nothing to do with me. But what I'm saying is, if I wasn't given the choice to have a period as a woman, so why should I have to pay taxes on this? And then on top of that, I shouldn't even have to go to work on the days that I'm actually on my period, if we want to be technical, because that's a lot.
There's a
it's
country to
pain.
do that.
It's different places that actually tell women that they can kind of take the days off. But you know, America, I have a gripe against
Not
them
only
because
do
they
you not get the days off,
you don't, they
but
don't
you get to
care.
work till you're 70.
Yeah, and that's the crazy part, because I'm not working after 50, maybe 55. But let me tell you something: if I gotta start scamming, I'ma just tell you, I'ma get mine.
Okay. I feel you. I feel you. I would not be partaking in that.
I'ma get mine.
And you seen about Young Thug? He's still in court.
Yep. He's
Still in court. This is looking like a circus down there. Like, this is out of control. At this point, I don't even know what's going on anymore. It's like you got people up there like, yeah, I know him. Was he part of the gang? What's a gang? Like, what, bro? Is that your testimony? You never heard of a gang?
See, what pisses me off the most about all of that is that the people that actually owns the jail centers, like the prisons and everything like that, are some of the same people that is in the background of the music industries that push this type of music to come out of doing crime, of doing things like that. And then when somebody get caught up in it, it's like they want to use them as an example, but it is also an agenda that they're actually pushing. Like, I've heard different artists say that, like, you know, they tell you that they want you to talk about murder. They want you to talk about killing. They want you to talk about certain things that you did because that's appeasing to the market. But it's like, if you're pushing this and this is what you want, but you're also the same people that's funding the prisons, because you want the prisons to be full, because that's another way of getting money, and it's another way of getting services done at some point for free. It's like, it's a cycle. So it's like, I haven't really paid attention to that, because it's like, for me, I'll never want to be involved into the rap industry or anything, or be too close to it, because it's an agenda. Like, they doing this to this black man. They want them to do these things so that they can get other black men to follow and be in prison, just so that they can get their numbers up. Like,
Well, here's an alternative. Let's play devil's advocate on this. Yes, they want to push that agenda. But nobody told none of these people, nobody said, go out, do this, and then tell the details of your crime in a rhyme. Like,
but at the same time, you got to think about it.
you can, like Jack and Jill. You can tell a Jack and Jill story as violent as you want, but it's a fairy tale. It's a fairy tale. Now, if you actually describing, I wore red shoes and I had a black hat on, and then I pulled my hoodie over my face and I put 3 caps in this fat, bro, that's you. I seen the video. You got on exactly what you said you had on in the song, and you did exactly what you said you did. At this point, you told on yourself. It's not artistic creation. It's a confession.
Yeah.
It's a difference between the two. Now, the guy in California or from LA who got hit with a RICO because he makes gangster rap, but he's not involved with any organization at all, that's different because he is a strictly artistic creation, and they found that, hey, somebody did something that sounds similar to what you were talking about, and even though you have an alibi saying that you wasn't there, we're gonna put you in there because it sounds like you know something about it.
Yeah, but at the same
That's
time,
different.
it's like a lot of people, when you start talking about certain things, and I would say a lot of people don't consider themselves to be manifesting things, but it's like when you start kind of constantly talking about things and rapping about things, first of all, you don't want to be seen as a liar. So some people do want some of their lyrics to be true because nobody wants to come out and find out like, oh, they was like a Rick Ross. Like Rick Ross wasn't as gangster as he thought he was. He was a security guard.
Still rich.
He is. But for some people psychologically, they want to make sure that what they putting out there is close to what their lifestyle actually is, because for them it's a way of I don't know what it is. I guess journaling, basically what they had to go through and different things like that. And then it's also another way of telling another person or warning another person, like, "Hey, don't mess with me because I'm a killer." You know, a bing bing pow.
Well, that way of thinking was a setup. That way of thinking was created as a setup because now that you have this mindset that I gotta live what I say, well, then you just walk around telling on yourself.
Basically.
And then they can just come pick you up after you're done. Well, you knocked off a couple people for us, thank you, and now get in jail. Which brought me to the question I asked somebody this: what is the value of life?
Based on
Like,
person.
why is life so valuable to the point that they will lock somebody up forever? Even though they know dead to rights, you did this crime, you killed all these people, so now we're gonna put you in jail forever. You're not in there to be rehabilitated at this point because you're not ever getting out. So, like, what are you being rehabilitated for? What is your contribution to society being locked in a box forever? There has to be a higher value for life. Like, there has to be a reason why we're holding on to you in a box and just collecting. Well, that's one value. They just get to collect a check for you forever.
Yeah.
Since you killed somebody, you can sit here for the next until you die.
Yeah.
And I'll collect, some coins off you.
Can I tell you about my conspiracy theory?
Go ahead.
Come here. Come here. Come here, camera. Bring it in. It's not going to zoom in. Come here. Come here. There we go. Listen, let me tell you something. I feel like they collecting these bodies because it's about to be a war. And because a lot of people is not going to want to actually go to war. Like, I'm at the age rank, like, I think it's between 18 to 35. They're going to be looking for people. But let's say you got a group of people that already owe society. So why not give that person a option? Like, hey, you could stay in here. Or if you fight for us, we'll knock off this amount of time, depending on how long you're in there and how good you do. I think that it's going to come a day and it's going to become a desperate matter if we get deep into this war and they need bodies. I feel like they are going to go to some of the people in the prison. I mean,
but being that, I've been in the military, that is not an effective fighting force. That is really just like a meat factory. Because pretty much, I mean, if they don't have the discipline to fight as a unit, they still have all of the prison politics going on, in which I believe there's no prison facility that's working to actually rehabilitate anybody, because like sitting by yourself or sitting in a room full of people doing whatever y'all do all day with really no guidance, how's that getting you prepared to be back out here? Like, how does it put you in a position to...
You don't think that they'll get desperate enough? Because let's think about our society and the people that's available right now to fight a war.
Well, we violated the patriot class. So, like, the people who used to be super patriots, they've been violated now. So, at this point, I don't really think we have a patriot class anymore. So, if we had to really fight a war and we needed, like, citizens to, like...
Who willingly going out there and be like, I'll do it.
Mock draft. Let's get out here and fight. I think we'll have a bunch of militias. Because we have people who are still working, who trains in their individual groups, their individual pods, to be effective at fighting, but not as a mass group or anything like that. Plus, this is a new day and age. I mean, I wouldn't want to fight a war nowadays. Like, we got weapons that knocks off whole countries. So don't put me out here, bro. Just
So that's what I'm saying.
wipe it
like,
out.
most of us is not gonna do it. So I mean, yeah, they might have one of those things where they're forcing people, try to force people, bring something out there. Because I think they did that. Was it for World War II? Or was that a Civil War where they made the men in the household that was between a certain age that they had to fight for the war? Like, I don't know. If they try to do that again, I just feel like that's not going to work. So the only other people that's available to do that would be people
In jail?
inside the prisons, inside the jails. And you would have to come up with a way to make it lucrative for them to want to do that. Even though realistically, like you said, they're not trained, they don't know certain things. But to them,
We get to that point, we lost. I ain't gonna lie to you. If we get to the point where we got to start using prison forces to fight for us, we lost. And in this day and age, in this modern society, what is it to go to war over? Because
we're in a war.
like the people start getting bombed over there, and we just throwing money at them. Like, well, we hope they don't rob y'all, but here's some more money, and that's what pisses me off. We got money to fund other people's war and protection and all that, but then you tell me I got to go to work for another 5 years? How dare you? I got to pay for them for another 5 years?
Yeah.
No, thank you. I think we should cut off all foreign aid, and then they need to reapply, and we judge it as not like the government, should they get it, as a whole country. People starving in Michigan.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to help Gaza Strip over there because people starving in Michigan.
No, you
And
see
I
what's going on in
understand that-
Texas, though.
I understand people got like relatives and all that stuff over there, and they're like, "Oh, help my relatives get here."
We ain't got it.
I mean, it ain't to be mean, but I mean, we fucked up right now.
Yeah.
Like, you seen the German commercial where they talking about Feed America? Like, in other countries, they're playing Feed America commercials.
No, for real.
And yet we still throwing out trillions and billions of dollars to look like we got it. Hey, bro, at this point, we are in the day and age where we can say, I don't know what to tell you, fam. Like, you knew them people was getting guns over there.
Yeah.
Why you ain't stopping before they got too many guns to come tear your shit up? Because I ain't got it right now, bro.
Honestly, I feel like it's a little bit too late for that. For one, I mean, Texas is doing what they can. You hear about the Texas government has basically been beefing out with the United States because the Texas government is like, we're going to do our own thing. We closing this border. So they set up something to close the border, and then the United States came back and they moved it out the way. So the government of Texas told them, go put that back. Like, put that back. I don't care. We're already there. Because you remember, like, months and months ago, all those people that was flooding into the United States. And then when you look at the videos, most of them were men. What they're saying is we're already being invaded on the inside. We just don't know that we were invaded yet. Like, it hasn't actually started, but
then we also look at, another state that's been on its own thing, Florida. Florida's been on its own thing.
Florida is always, when it comes to voting, I don't trust, like, Florida to do the right thing. But they always, I don't know what's in their water, but they're always doing something, like.
Well, definitely is something in their water because over the last few weeks, there has been a lot of alien sightings in Florida.
Yeah.
And like legit alien sightings. And I believe we brought this up by, having the people go in front of Congress and talk about, Area 51 and how we confirm that we've had extraterrestrial contact.
Demons.
And now they're just cruising into Florida like, let's chill in Miami.
I mean, y'all talking about me.
Hey, y'all good with us now. Let's vacay. We ain't got to put on the human skins no more. We can just go and come down here, see what's popping with y'all.
You looking at everybody like, so what's up?
Hey, well, you know what? I think we are coming to that age because America can't keep giving aid out to the rest of the world. So if somebody from another planet could pull up and take over this burden that we keep trying to assume, because every time our country assume this burden, it always costs us more. I'm tired of paying more. And if you can't figure that out in Congress or in the House, I'm tired of paying more. I got to work extra hard so that you can throw $1 billion at somebody who ain't never contributed to America nothing. I'm sick of that. Bro, we got to do something else. It got to be another process.
Yeah.
Let's see what your contribution is. Match people now. We can do that?
Nope.
If you show up with $1 billion to fix your own country, then maybe we can give you $500 million.
That's still doing too much.
But that's something. Now we gonna take care of all of it, and you just sit back and collect money while the people who's bombing you to death is robbing the money that we send to you. Hey, look, fam, I don't know what to tell you, bro. You got a border, you got a country, you got a military. You ain't built it up enough to protect y'all. What was y'all doing?
Listen, America is now becoming one of the they're considering us to be like a third world country, basically.
That's how we acting. That is how we acting.
And it doesn't make sense. I think it's a lot of stuff that don't make sense that probably will never make sense. And I think it's all because the people that we have basically voted for to be in these offices is just they're not understanding what we need. And I think it's because they're not living in the same world that we're living in, and nor do they care about the world that we're living in. I'm sorry, but boomers got to get out the way. I'm gonna just say that. Like boomers, different. They have been holding on to seats and holding on to power so much that I'm praying to God that He just wiped them away. Because not like it's and die, but like give them a push. Go ahead and retire. Like get up. It's time to go.
Sit down.
Pack
this ain't your world no more.
Pack it up, because it's like we as millennials, Gen Z, I don't trust them. But millennials, at least give us a chance. Like, allow us, because a lot of us know what we need and we know what we want. And we're the ones that's living in it right now. Like, it's crazy to me that boomers will sit there and say sometimes, like, they're lazy, they're not doing this. Bro, when you were young, it was maybe like $30,000 to get a house or something like that. I don't know. Now, if you want a house, it's legit $25,000 down. $250,000, and that's usually for like a not so you.
Statistically, 70% of Americans will never own a house.
Yeah.
It's just not feasible.
It's crazy.
Not feasible for them currently. Even though the housing market today is not considered to be as bad as it was, but it still is not feasible for most Americans to even think about purchasing a house. So I feel like that right there alone shows what kind of shape we in. I mean, you can't even imagine buying a house. What is the American dream now? What is the current American dream?
The American dream is to live.
Eat tomorrow. Like,
that's it.
It's it.
It's to live. Because you can't dream too high. Because first of all, food is expensive. And then it's so much stuff that's being put in the food. It's lab-grown food that's not labeled as lab-grown food these days. I've been going to the store, in the grocery store, faithfully every single week. And when I tell you that now you have to be careful of the labels on the things. Like, I have gotten bread that was going to expire in 3 days. Most of the stuff is already expired. I got some juice that was already like 4 weeks expired. I went to another store. Juice already expired January the 22nd or something, and we're in February. And
it's still good. Like, it's still good. Let it ride.
They're not checking the shelves, and most of the stuff that they're getting is already halfway expired when they're getting it. And some of the food and the meat they already know is expired, but they repackage it and put an extra week on there, and you open it up and the food smells like decaying flesh.
And the main reason this is happening is because, one, most state legislators wanted to hold off on raising the minimum wage. So now the people who, ain't nobody working a job. Ain't nobody working a job. I can't do nothing with $12 to $15 an hour. I'm not even going to try. I'm going to go do something else where I can make more money. YouTube right now is paying a lot more than $12 an hour. And all you got to do is be a dumbass.
Do something crazy.
Like, just full time. You used to be those people touching videos where people go out and they get in contact with society, and then they have this heartfelt moment where, they give you a gift to help you. They ain't even doing that no more.
Nope.
It's just people who walk up with videos like, hey, do you want what's in this box? Here you go. Like and subscribe. And they out.
Yeah.
Like, straight to the point. I don't care who you is. I need these coins. We got to get them today. But with that, since everybody's not into it, it is creating a segment of classes where we have low class or people who's broke. And then you have people who's becoming upper middle class, and the economy is adjusting to try to balance that out, which means the people who's broke feel even broker because you can't actually eat real food. They don't make real food for your financial situation. If you want non-GMO, you want actual cow beef, you're going to need a lot more coins than what you got. If you want to eat cereal that came from like a place with a name brand on it, you're going to need a lot more coins. But because these companies have to cut costs as well, your cereal is being packaged in the same building as your beef, your pork, your fruit, and everything else. So when they have a recall because something got cross-contaminated, all the food in your refrigerator is going in the garbage. And you can't eat food for the next 3 months until they figure out how they clear out that cross-contamination.
And that's happening like every other week.
Every other week. So it's like when you finally get enough dollars to get some food, you got to throw it away because they ain't paid the person who was sorting it enough to keep it separated. They paid him enough to show up and make sure the thing was moving.
Yep.
He like, whoop. That looked like steak on this fruit line. Let it ride.
It'll be all right. It'll be okay. I'm going to just go ahead and press this red button to let them know that something has happened. But speaking of finances and speaking of jobs, I want to jump right into the finance segment here. So let's talk about the job market real quick. There is a lot of jobs that has been saying that they are hiring for the last year, but they're not really hiring. So let me give you an example, okay? I go on LinkedIn almost every other day, and I probably apply for about 50 to 100 jobs. And if you go on, I don't know if you're into TikTok or whatever it is, if you go and you search job market or jobs, there's a lot of jobs that's on there that people say is hiring. And then it's a lot of discouraging videos. So lately, a lot of jobs have been laying off workers. This was actually a trend last year around March. Where it was a lot of jobs that were laying off, but they're back at it again. And I don't know if you have been paying attention to any of the videos that was coming out late last year. A lot of the employers feel like the employees have gotten too lazy, too lax, and that's because of remote jobs. And they want people to get back out and traveling to work because it makes more money when people are out and they're spending money to eat lunch and getting gas. So they think that it will be better for the market. Yes. And then a lot of employers have been paying attention to the videos that's been posted. So when people say, I have this job at home and I'm cooking and I'm doing this and this and this while working, they're paying attention to that now. So now they want to make sure that they can track what your labor is. They want people to come back into the office. And because we are Americans and we're not just going to do what you say, a lot of people do not want to come back in office. So they haven't. So to combat that, a lot of employers have chosen to make sure that the market is so bad that people will start begging for jobs. So there has been 12,000 people that have been laid off from the U.S. Post Office. There's been quite a lot of people that's been laid off from Google and a lot of tech, industry jobs. They've been laying off people,
right? Because
that was the booming market the last couple years has been tech. Thank God I wasn't in this layoff, but I have went through this before where I was laid off and it took me over a year to be able to get a job. So I will say right now, if you do have a job, please try to keep your job and be careful of how you utilize your money, because right now employers are trying to make an example of how they want things to go. So that means that the job market is going to get very frivolous, I would say would be a good word. It's going to be really hard for you to be able to get another job depending on what market that you're in. And like you said, the minimum wage have gone up, but we know that that's usually 30 to 50 cents. So like for us, I think in Michigan, that's like $12 an hour.
Right.
But to get an apartment, they're saying you need to make at least about $16 an hour to have a 1-bedroom and to be able to make it. They're saying
where?
They said in Michigan. I don't know where. because you still have to have a car, you still have to have car insurance, you still have to have like different necessities. So I don't know where at that
Hey,
you
so-
can live like that, but they're saying that at minimum you do need $16 an hour.
Bare minimum, you need to be able to shovel out $1,500 a month for rent. Now, most places that's asking you for $1,500 a month want you to show that you make 4 times the rent.
Yep.
So, if you need to show that you make 4 times $1,500 a month, that means you need to be making $6,000 a month. You're not gonna catch that under $20, and you better be doing a lot of overtime. A lot of overtime, because ideally, if you're working 40 hours a week, which a full-time job no longer is 40 hours a week. It's 35 to 40 hours. That's been like that for at least the last 10 years, 35 to 40 hours a week. So you could very well still be considered full-time at 35. So in order for you to actually make the money that you're looking for, you're going to need 2 jobs at $20 an hour, in which you'll only be able to pay for your house, maybe car note or something like that. I wouldn't shoot for a car note. I'd go buy a shooter or something you ain't got to pay for, and just get your insurance. But depends on what city you in. Your insurance can be drastically different. And I ain't talking about like, it was $50 here and it's $75 there. I mean like it's $150 here, it's $625 here, and if you under 25, you better go get you a rich old auntie or something, cause unfeasible.
Yeah. And it's like I'm looking at the numbers. If you make $16 an hour, it means that weekly you probably bring in about $640. Bi-weekly, that's about $1,200. Yearly, that'd be $33,280. Now,
Gotta assume taxes, because they did raise taxes.
I was gonna say you gotta think about taxes, bringing out the taxes, health insurance, because you will be penalized if you do
have
not
to have health
have
insurance.
health insurance. So I will say, in this segment, I really want to bring out the fact that no matter, we're not judging how much you make, okay? Because we've all started. When I started working at the age of 14, I was at McDonald's and I made $5.50, okay? So I make over $20 more than that, but it's like I started at $5 an hour at McDonald's. Okay?
I remember the bottoms.
Yes. I don't judge nobody. I have worked at McDonald's. I have worked as a janitor at Henry Ford. I have done like a lot of different things, and I finally got into the tech industry, worked for Apple and different things like that. So we're not judging where you are or what you're doing or how much you're getting paid, but be mindful of how you spend your money, okay? Because the job market is going to get a little bit crazier, and the prices for things are not going to go down. Things are continuously rising. So when you're getting your paycheck, this is how I do it. If you get paid bi-weekly, what you need to do is set aside what you actually need. I always live by a 70-30 rule, and that's because of my parents. I've adjusted it a little bit, but 70% of my money was usually like bills and different things that I need. I've kind of gotten that down to 50% now, because like 50% of my money is basically what I need. So every time you get paid, even if you don't have to pay like major bills in that check, set aside at least 50% of that check if you don't need most of it, okay? You should always have a savings. But also, I always tell people this. You don't need to buy yourself something good every time you get paid. You need to spoil yourself, but at the same time, you need to make sure you're being responsible when spoiling yourself. So meaning that get what you actually you need first. Pay your bills. If you need groceries, don't always go for name brand stuff. It's okay to get some non-name brand stuff. It's not gonna kill you. Get your gas. Don't let your gas tank get below half a tank. Only because everything is so crazy. Do not do that. Because I remember one time my mom let the gas get real low. And remember that back in I think it was like 2008, maybe a little bit earlier. No, it had to be like maybe 2002. That blackout in the city.
Yep.
We ain't had no gas. Gas was like really, really low.
I had a ball. I was on a bicycle.
I hated it. I was so
out.
hot.
Everybody was barbecuing. It was a mass community thing.
It was not fun for me.
But see, I like those tips that you handing out. Now, for my people who subscribe to my way of living, where check to almost a check has been a thing. So, pay your bills first. that's all I can give you. You may not be able to do a 70-30. You may not even be able to do a 90-10. 95-5 may be a stretch. Just pay your bills first. Because as long as you ain't got to worry about your bills, you can figure out everything else. Mm-hmm. Pay your bills first. Make sure that you have somewhere to live. And make friends. Make a lot of friends. That way, y'all can, help each other out with eating. Because right now, taking care of yourself is becoming very expensive. If you're taking care of a family, God bless you. Because I'm doing that, and I realize saving 30% or saving even 10%, very difficult. And with my son now excited about school, I was like, what school did you like more? You seen Ferndale? You seen Cranbrook? Which one you like? He liked Cranbrook. And whew, I want him to reevaluate if Ferndale is, nice little school or whatnot. But, you also got to take in consideration that you need to be able to take care of emergencies. And emergencies come up. And they come up at the worst time. So if you can put aside like a little tools and fuels, $10 here, $20 there. Think about if you're a smoker. If you smoke, get one less pack of cigarettes. Just one less pack of cigarettes is about $10 and some change. And if you do that every week over a year, that's $520. So that's a little something. But, since the cost of everything has gone up, it is like blasphemous how much it costs to put tires on your car now. Like,
I just had to get 2 tires last week. I was really upset about it, but everything is really expensive. I would say, how your life is, and you know what your budgeting is. Just try as much as you can to utilize things the best way that you can. So depending on what you like to do on your off time or your free time or how you like to eat, find different ways. I've seen people get the family dinner from Texas Roadhouse. I think it's like $40, but it come with a big old thing of salad. It come with a whole bunch of chicken, and some people meal prep for the week. And that $40 stretch them. Find what works for you.
Absolutely.
It's definitely different ways that you can utilize your money, even depending on how much you're getting paid. And I would say that some people are better with money. Like, you don't need a lot of money to be able to make it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You just got to be smart enough to make your money work for you. Like me, I invested $100 maybe a couple years ago in some stocks, and I just get 4% on top of that $100, like all the time. So it's like all you got to do is find different ways to allow your money to make money for you.
Oh, and if you are gonna save, definitely do it before it hits your account. If you can set up your check to actually take out what you want to save first, definitely the way to go. Yep. I actually have my 401k taking out 6%. But I also take another 6% that I have going over to my investment account that is separate from my check. So when I'm doing the math on what I'm paying the bills on, 6% is already removed from the equation because we have to figure it out with whatever we got anyway. Mm-hmm. So remove whatever you want to save from your check before you get it so that you don't have to try to save it. It's already removed, and you're going to still figure out how to get done what you need done off your check.
Yep. Most banking accounts, you can set that up by going to their website, or if you utilize their app. Like I got PNC, I got Chase, and Navy Federal. So I have, each one of them have a different way where you can, when there is a deposit, you can minus a certain amount and put into a different account. I used to do that a lot with my PNC, where like every time I had a deposit come in there, put $100 into my savings account or my reserve account. Like when I wanted to buy something and I knew it was going to be expensive, I would used to put out like $20 here, $20 there. So if I make a $200 purchase, boom, I've been saving that for like, the last month or so it ain't going to really hurt my pockets. You got to start thinking like that. And then also, this is a year of a lot of concerts. Janet Jackson is coming. Nicki Minaj is coming. Meg Thee Stallion. Please be careful of how you spend your money this year. I will say that. Because you don't know what's going to happen this year. And I do feel like every time that there is a presidential voting season, it's something gonna happen. It's gonna be something to shake up the crowd and get them to flow to one side, Democrat or Republican. So just be careful with that, because it's never easy when it's time to start voting for a president, and they always got to come in with a bang. So I'm not saying it is gonna happen, because YouTube will definitely take this video down if I say something's gonna happen. So allegedly, that's what usually happens every time.
Historically.
Yeah.
Historically, things has happened. So, just be mindful of what has happened in the past, and, plan your future accordingly.
Yep. And then also, I don't know if a lot of people know this, that no matter what state you in, if you Google WARN, like WARN, in the state that you're in, by law, every company that's going to be laying off, they have to actually tell the state that they're going to be laying off.
Sheesh.
So, yeah. So a lot of people don't know this, but it's called WARN notices. And basically, it's the Work Adjustment and Restraining Notification Act, where basically they have to notify the state that they're going to be laying people off. So they usually give these notices, usually maybe a month or so, or depending on when they're going to lay off. Search it for your state. So if you're in Michigan, search Warren, Michigan, and it's going to come up, and it's going to either tell you previously, or if you go to the right page, it'll tell you what's coming up and who's going to be laying off more recently. But you can see that information that is open to the public. So definitely check it out, especially if you're in in the tech companies or in big companies like the hospitals, or there's a lot of companies like that that's laying off, like General Motors. When you want to know when someone is going to be actually doing something, definitely take a look at this, tell your people about this, because it's a lot of things that people don't know.
Oh, and you know what? This is really, it's a real thing, and I'm looking at it right now. I want to say there's a company here named Bright Drop. You're petty, because they put out a notice that they will be laying off. And then they have this column called population, one person. I'm sorry, my dog. They don't want you there no more, for sure. And they making sure that you ain't got a leg to stand on when they fire you. So, get your affairs in order. They had to give you a month. They put that notice out December 28th. So, guess you don't work there no more. So they got you. But that was extremely petty. But just looking at the site, they do give out these notices, and it looks like they give them out by date and how many people will be affected with this this round of layoffs. And it actually tells you why it's happening, or they either have a facility closing or it's just a round of layoffs. But looking at how many layoffs it is on this list thus far, that's 12,728 that has been placed on this list thus far. So honestly, the job market is not growing at a rate in which we can accommodate this. And I don't see any relief as far as food or anything like that happening in the near future. I really feel like the money we sending everywhere else, we need to do get us a $1 billion infusion to just lower the cost of shit. Like everything just needs to be lowered, and we really need assistance with that. And I really wish the government would take a look at that. I understand, we want to look good on the world stage, but if it ain't nobody left to stand with us on the world stage, then who we looking good for? They
don't care.
You put a brand new front door on your house, but the windows done fell out. We got to do better, bro. We got to do better. So everybody, definitely be smart with your finances, and definitely focus on what has happened historically, and just be prepared for any changes that can come in the future. If that means not going to the club this weekend just to put up a couple extra dollars, do that. And
bring the club to you. Get a speaker. Get some little lights and
you ain't. I'm gonna tell you what. Block parties is where it's at. Block parties definitely gets it done. Being able to just chill with people that you already rock with, you ain't got to worry about. It's somebody hungry out there in the streets. Understand that. Somebody got a gun and some bullets, and nothing else. So just be conscious. With the more strain that you put on people's pockets, the more crime skyrockets.
Yeah.
So, just pay. Oh, that was a rhyme. Look at that.
Yeah. Look at you trying to be a rapper. MC Rick.
But no, just be conscious of what's going on and, stay dangerous, people.
And y'all know we always like to leave the show off with a little bit of encouragement. Mental health is so near and dear to my heart. And the message that I had for this show was basically shedding your skin in a way. Kind of like, how like snakes, they shed their skin after a while, like that dead skin.
Right.
It's kind of the same thing like that.
Like molten?
Basically.
Okay.
And we'll spend like 5 minutes on this and then we'll wrap it up. But basically, I want to remind people that when traumatic things happen in your life, like when it's a death, after a breakup, or after something has ended, when something is like traumatic in your life, and sometimes when people like have kids and stuff, they'll say, okay, I got to get back to being me and different things during those times, because
Right.
those times you'll start to feel like I'm not being myself, I'm not being who I am. I want to remind people that usually during those times, that is the time where you are starting to shed the old person that you used to be. Some of those things actually do change who you are, and it's actually meant to change who you are. I've experienced like a couple deaths that have like really affected me and have changed me. I think my grandmother's death. Shout out to my grandma. Her birthday was yesterday. Happy heavenly birthday. That death changed me a lot, and that was what caused me to really dive into mental health when I saw my mental health declining a lot. I've had breakups, like my recent breakup from my engagement, that really like shifted my mind a lot and like caused me to be a lot differently. And I remember going through these times and really thinking like, I got to get back to being who I was and what I was comfortable with being who I was. Right. And I'm starting to realize that when those things happen, you'll never be the same again. Right. And that's the purpose of it actually happening, to transition you and to change you and to mold you into who you are supposed to be. So I want to remind people that when things like that happen, those heartbreaking moments, those devastating disasters that just seems to kind of hit you at like out of nowhere, that the person that you used to be before that happened starts to die off when that happens.
Well, you also have to accept that sometimes people, the loved one that you lost or anything like that, they played a big part in your life.
Yeah.
So with them not being there, you being the you that you used to be won't be possible, because it's a big void there, and the more you try to force yourself in that direction, the more you're going to feel that void is there, and you're going to either fill it with something that's unnecessary or something toxic. So it's best to face what happened, find a way to bring peace to what happened, and understand that you can't get back to who you were, but you control your life. So the direction that you want to go in, you can learn how to move forward from the point that you're at to get to the point where you want to be. If you want to be more open and more conversational with people, you can put yourself in situations where you can talk more. And I'm learning more and more that sometimes therapy is the way. So if you do need somebody to talk to, a professional to talk to, because most people that you just randomly talk to will look at you with those weird alien eyes and be like, what are you even talking about? But listen, or having a professional actually talk to you and be able to bounce ideas off of, even if it's just to have somebody listen, it's a very valuable thing. So don't think of it as, I hope that stigma still floating around? We don't talk about our business out in the street.
Yeah.
Definitely throw that away, because the people who tell you that definitely ain't willing to listen either. So dealing with a professional who can actually give you sound advice, who has nothing invested in your growth other than your growth, is a great benefit because they don't have to tell you something or sugarcoat something because they don't want to hurt your mama feelings or they don't want to hurt your baby daddy, your baby mama feelings and all that. They're there for you and they're there to listen to your problem, your perspective, and give you open perspective on what you could be missing. So definitely, if you need a professional, reach out and find somebody to talk to. Definitely.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that. And I know it can be expensive to like find therapists, find people to talk to. I actually do have a resource that you guys can use if it becomes expensive to you. I believe the website, I'm looking it up now, everything is loading. I don't know what's been going on with my computer, but everything is loading slow. But it's called opencounseling.com. You can put in your zip code or your city and state, and they try to find free to low cost counseling for you to give you something to someone to actually talk to if you need to. And then I know sometimes we are not as open to discuss with other people, and that is perfectly fine. If you're not comfortable with talking to people, then there is a couple apps that you can use that you're actually talking to a robot, which is kind of cool.
That's
So
wild.
yeah, so you're actually talking to a robot, and the robot basically responds back to it. So it's kind of like talking to an AI. I think we was talking about AI earlier
Yeah.
for a second, but basically you
Oh, that was
go
before the
you
show.
yeah, that was before the show. You conversate with this machine, like as in texting, and oh dang, my thing just closed up on me. It won't even open. But basically, I think it's called. What is it called? The name of that app. I want to say it was like. I want to try to find it. I can't find the name of it for some reason. It's like every time I need to find something, everything just be like going haywire on my laptop. That's the devil.
Well, one I found to be very helpful is BetterHelp. BetterHelp is a therapist platform where they give you a little questionnaire. They do try to find ways to make it cheaper or break the payments up, where you can actually get virtual sessions to cut down the cost of going into an office or cut down costs in any way that they can cut down costs, as well as if you do have insurance that cover it, which very few insurance policies cover it. So
Yeah.
if yours do, good on you. If you don't know, definitely look into that and look into all the resources that your insurance do offer you. Since right now insurance is pretty mandatory,
Yeah.
look at the resources that you do get from your insurance, and even if it's something simple as being able to work out. Workout does promote better mental health as well.
Yeah.
So finding just your outlet is the best way to be able to move forward in a healthier manner, because right now we can't afford not to be healthy because shit costs too much. So definitely, you don't want to create a spiral in which now you're sick, it costs too much, and now you're in mental anguish trying to figure out how you're going to take care of this. It becomes a deadly spiral, and stress is still the number one killer of humans on the planet. So definitely find what resources can work for you. You find that site?
I'm still looking.
Right, but find what resources can work for you and continue to take care of your mental health as well as your physical health. And if you want to get down and do a group workout, I'm actually looking for a group of people to start doing a group workout. Just like a video workout, even if we just doing push-ups once a day, just to get a routine going. I feel like if you create a routine, you can create a routine of better health.
I found it. It's called I think it's Wysa, so it's wysa.io. That's the website, or you can look it up. It's a chatbots app, so you can look it up in the App Store as well. You'll just put in WYSA, and it's just basically a robot that you talk to, and it'll give you the summary of everything that y'all talked about, and it's just basically you talking to a non-person. If you're not comfortable with talking to people, but to bring everything full cycle, definitely remember that you're always evolving in life, And things are going to happen regardless, like, if we like it or not. That's
Right.
just kind of how life is. And that's the way of growing. It's been a lot of stuff that, honestly, if I was given a choice about a lot of stuff that I went through, I would have not went through it. But I can say to this day that it has grown me and helped me. If my grandma didn't die, I would have loved it for her like to be alive. But if she didn't die, I wouldn't have learned how to, I guess, maneuver my emotions. I wouldn't have been comfortable enough to share my story. Right. And I wouldn't have gotten to this podcast, and I wouldn't have grown this forever love for mental health.
Right.
So, some things happen to transition you. Like, I love the person that I was before my grandma died. Let's just put let me put that out there. Let's be clear. I love that person because honestly, I wasn't really attached to my emotions like that. So a lot of things didn't affect me as, they did start to affect me after my grandma died. Like, I wasn't really super emotional. I was kind of like, emotional list. It's like some things that people would cry about and stuff I just didn't really care about. But when my grandma died, I tell you, that little Pandora box of emotions just went haywire. Like,
I don't know. Before my grandma, I was very enthusiastic about doing things, and I was able to plan for tomorrow a lot better. I have lost that ability. Like, tomorrow is a mystery. But what I've been able to embrace is the present. Yeah. Being more present and not always being in the future has become a great benefit because now I can see the flowers. And I'm not losing the flowers for, the whole field or the valley, or losing the tree for the woods. I'm able to identify each individual item and just enjoy what that brings. Mm-hmm. And I've been enjoying the present, but still being able to have that foresight was a beautiful thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's like traumatic things when they first start happening, it's horrible. And I used to always I will tell you this. My number one question would be like, I'm not going to say blame God, but I will always say, like, God, why would you allow this? Like, why would you let this happen to me? Like, I thought you loved me. I thought, like, that's kind of what the thing was, because I pray. So for this stuff to happen to me, it's just, like, super crazy to me, because it's like, if you loved me, you wouldn't let nobody hurt me. You wouldn't let me keep on getting into these hurtful situations. Like, I used to be pissed. And I didn't want to admit that I was mad at God, because who gonna say, God, I'm mad at you? But I've learned that a part of life and a part of God, or however you want to say the universe, I know some people like to use other wordings. I respect that. But a part of you growing and becoming the person that you need to be is you have to be broken down. And you have to get to a place where life can mold you into who you're supposed to be, who you're destined to be. So that's just kind of the message today is, right. Shed that old skin. You have to go through devastating things, and it's hurtful in a moment. And we all go through it in different ways, and we all kind of transition differently, but we're all going to go through the pain of having to shed the old skin of old us. I know that I'm still going to keep on having to go through that. I'm still going to keep on transitioning and having to be molded into a different person, or a better person, or a better version of myself. And that's just a part of life. So I just want to tell people, don't fight it. Like, it's something that's got to happen. And just know that it's something that we all go through, and you're not at it alone. And just keep your head on your shoulders as you go through it, and as you're transitioning into who you are, because it can get real dark. That molding and that transition, when that stuff happened, it gets so dark because you lose yourself, because you can't get back to who you was.
Right. And the biggest thing is just to remember, things are not happening to you. Things are happening for you. If you can keep the positive outlook on it and see what can you learn and how can you grow from every situation, you will make yourself a lot better. Because if you start to feel like things are happening to you, it's going to look like it just don't stop. It's always going to be something happening. Life is going to keep lifing. So definitely try to look at it from the most positive view, or the most positive aspect ever. And like I said, if you ever need somebody to chop it up with, I mean, I'm willing to lend an ear or run my mouth for as long as you need to.
Oh, look at that. That's nice. I would say that, but when I say messages like that, I have this man contact me and say, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" So it's like I'm not gonna say that, but you know what I will
Hey,
do?
what's up, baby girl? You trying to get something to eat so I can talk to you about my problem?
Basically, I'm gonna just go ahead and say I'll pray for you. I definitely will. I'll send a prayer for you. I'm always saying, mind over matter. Your mind is important. It's going to be very important this year. So definitely utilize the things that we tell you, especially mentally, because the mind is the most precious and most expensive thing that you can have right now. I'm going to tell you that
Absolutely.
for sure. And keep your health. Keep your health up. Do anything that you can. I'm drinking chlorophyll water. It doesn't have a taste to it, but it's really like a natural detox.
Chlorophyll?
Yeah. It's a
Oh, okay.
chlorophyll.
Not chloroform.
No.
Or chloroform is
No,
that
I
the
be-
stuff that knock you out? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but no, some chlorophyll to make sure that I'm slowly detoxing. It's a deodorant, so to make sure that like your smell isn't like crazy when you start getting musty and stuff. And I use natural deodorant. Yeah, so I have to make sure I get all this out of my system. So in the summertime, I ain't
Okay.
like musty and like
Okay. I feel you.
I ain't got
feel
time
you.
for you to be looking at me like this and staying away from me when we're
Hey.
doing the show.
I ain't even gonna do that. I'm gonna tell you straight up. Hey, yo, mate. Smelling like you got a little hamburger in a headlock over there. Need to go check that out.
Oh, my phone telling me that it's at 20%. Okay. That's crazy that my phone is notifying me out here. But this has been a great show. Happy Black History Month once again.
Absolutely. Go, my
And
people.
check us out on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. I think they just discontinued Radio Public as a whole,
Word?
network. Yeah, they sent me an email, so all of that is gone. But check us out on Pandora. We're everywhere. We're growing. We're getting better, and
Find us where you find podcasts.
yeah,
We there.
for the most part. So, I think that we are out of this thing. Oh, I could do the. Wait a minute. Let me see if I could do the. It's not gonna do it. It's not gonna do it. No, it's not doing none of it. Oh, we
well,
just look crazy.
whatever.
All right. See y'all.
Peace.
Peace.